Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. Hope you guys are all doing well. We have a lot to talk about today, including the refurbishment work which is currently going on at St James's Park, the refurbishment work which is currently going on down at the training ground, and after 30,000 Geordies queued for a season ticket the other day, it has once again kick-started that conversation. How could we extend St James's Park? And we have some very interesting diagrams we are going to take a look at today, which, who knows, could be the answer to that question. Before we get started on today's video, if I can please ask you guys to subscribe to the channel. I know loads of you guys watch my videos but still haven't hit that big red button. It's free to do so, it really helps me, and it means you guys will not miss any videos in the future. Let's start things off with the training ground. Now, we know that when the new owners came in, one of the first things they spoke about was wanting to upgrade the training facilities at Newcastle United to the point where they want to build a brand new, purpose-built training ground from the ground up. Now, obviously, the issue is finding somewhere to put that. I don't think the current training centre at Benton has the room for what they are wanting to do there. They want to have it available for the first team, the women's team, the under-23s, the under-21s, the academy teams. Could local teams even play there? Could you have 5-a-side, 7-a-side? Could we have a mini stadium where fans can go and watch some of the younger teams? I mean, look at what Leicester have done recently. Their new training ground is fantastic, and I would love to see Newcastle have that. Now again, Murdhad has come out and said that it's going to take 4 to 5 years before we can have that. So in the meantime, we are working on refurbishing the current training ground. And back at the beginning of May, Newcastle did put in a planning request to the local council for that refurbishment work, and we hadn't really heard too much about it, so I just assumed it had been accepted. We've already seen the diggers down at the training ground making a start on that refurbishment. It looks like they're reseeding the grass ahead of the pre-season, and as I say, I hadn't heard too much, but just the other day we have now seen a response from the council accepting the request for those changes. So the proposal was a single-storey side and rear extension to the east side of the training complex, rear extension of existing dining room to the southwest, and landscaping works to the rear of the training complex. And that was accepted on Tuesday the 28th of June. So those digger photos that got released, maybe we've made a little bit of a start before it was officially done, or more likely we'd began the preparations around the edges of the building so that when, and hopefully it has been, it get accepted, we were ready to get started straight away. Because again, the pre-season's about to kick off. I mean, we're not at the ground, and we're not at the training ground that much over the pre-season. We're in Austria, we're in Portugal, so maybe again we'll use those moments to make the changes to the training ground. It's not quite the purpose-built training ground yet, but small changes as we go over the next 3 or 4 years. And again, I don't think the current location is big enough as it is for the new purpose-built training ground. So regardless, the chances are we will continue where we are, we will continue to build it up, make it better, and then in the meantime, 4 or 5 years later, that one will supersede the old training ground. Again, Eddie Howe wants a larger dining room, social area for the players. Apparently, we haven't really had that in the past. There has been nowhere for the players to hang out, so that was one thing on Eddie Howe's list. And we're looking to get away from those wheelie bins as well, because we are also looking to bring in a hydro chamber, hydrotherapy, basically adding these things that pretty much all Premier League teams already have, even a lot of Championship teams already have that we don't. And it's not a fix, it is a temporary change to upgrade what we have while we wait for the new training ground to hopefully get underway in the next few years. Let's talk about some of the refurbishment work currently going on inside of St James's Park. And no, unfortunately, it's not extension to the groundwork. Hopefully, we will have that in the next few years, and I will talk about that a little bit in a moment. But what is currently going on right now is refurbishment work inside of St James's Park, inside of the concourses. And I tell you what, the little things make a difference. They really do. And the training ground, that was not a little thing. They had to go in there. They had to go and sort that out. But things like moving Shearer's statue back onto stadium ground, changing 9 bar back to Shearer's bar, giving those minging window roofs a clean. I mean, getting rid of those Sports Direct signs, that was a must. That was not a little thing. They had to go. But some of the little things really do make a difference. And we've seen photos being released of changes going on inside of the concourse. They're painting it. They're putting up flags. Again, you think to those images of tiny little screens on a wall. I mean, my eyes are all right, but they're not the best. And I tell you what, when you stood at the back of a room and there's a 7-inch TV on a wall, you can't see a thing. Basically, from what I remember over the last few years, is basically every time one of the 40-inch TVs broke, Ashley just got a new 10-inch TV and stuck it on the wall to save himself money. It looks like we are finally doing something about that. Again, I haven't seen images of new TVs on the walls yet, but I've seen painting. Looks like we're hanging flags with Geordie chants on, Newcastle chants on. It's what you want to see. Again, it's a little thing. It's something that I go to the game, really what the walls look like doesn't really matter, but it makes a difference. Something that I've already seen is when you go down at half time, sometimes the bars are absolutely packed. They've started putting on like cash bars where you can go down and just get your beers straight away, and it makes a difference. It means you're not having to send one of your mates down, rock, paper, scissors with everyone to see who has to go down 10 minutes early and get the pints. You can actually go down at half time and get your beers without standing for the full 15 minutes and then having to neck it with 1 minute until the game starts. So it does definitely make a difference. Again, that Shea Given poster that was half ripped and sat on the wall for like 5 years or something, like, it's not on. You pay your money, you pay to go and watch the games, but you pay to go to St James's Park, and it's our club, it's our ground, and it was not in a great state. So again, it's something small, but I absolutely love it. Again, it makes the difference. Obviously, there's only been a few photos released so far. I'm assuming they're going to be doing that throughout the majority of the ground, or at least I hope so. And again, it makes a difference. It's something that I really like to see. And again, I can't wait to get back there, to be honest. I'm absolutely loving this summer window, but I can't wait to get in there, see what it's like, and get this season kick-started. Now then, in terms of the ability for Newcastle to potentially extend St James's Park, I mean, this is a conversation that's been going on since the owners got here, and I think it's a conversation that will probably continue on for quite a while. I mean, Murdad did come out and say they have no plans on leaving St James's Park. Again, the conversation at the minute is extension versus moving. Would you want to move? Would you want to stay? I want to stay. I'm with Murdad. I'm thinking find a way. I don't care how much it costs. Find a way to get this stadium extended. And I know that might not even be a possibility, which is why this conversation will be ongoing. But it has kicked off again as 30,000 Geordies queued for just 1,000 available season tickets. I mean, it's fantastic to see the support of the team, of the club, and if they need any proof that an extension will get filled with people going to the games, you've got it right there. You've literally got it there. We will fill any extra seats we can get into that ground. And to add to that, there was 9,000 people queuing for a club membership as well. So if you are hoping to get to a game, you don't have a season ticket, I would potentially suggest looking at the memberships. Basically, the tickets go on sale to members before general sale. It's about 30 to 40 quid for the season, and it just puts you that step closer to a ticket. To be honest, there's been some quite unhappy people online because, again, it's one membership per person. You can't buy it for a second person. You can't buy an additional ticket for someone to sit next to you. Again, I mean, for the friendlies coming up in the past few years, I'd buy 5 tickets. I'd get them for all my mates. I'd get all the seats together. It looks like I can't do that this year, potentially. So there is some changes. Obviously, the number of people trying to get tickets right now is just forcing the hand of Newcastle to be a little bit stricter on how they do it. So It's not great. It's tough for some of the fans. I mean, I sit with two mates who have season tickets, so I'll be okay. All the other lads that I buy tickets for, they're a bit stuffed, to be honest. So it isn't great, but Newcastle had to do something, and they've tried to come up with an answer. Whether it's the best or not the best, you know, again, this fills the conversation with, and again, that's why the conversation is getting kick-started again on the ability to extend the ground. So what can we do? Well, there is the idea of being able to add a few extra 1,000 seats by extending here and extending there, but generally that's not what I'm going to talk about today. We will take a look at two different planned ideas, one of which is from a few years ago, one of which is from more recent, and both of which are from a man called John Henry. Now, I'm actually on his LinkedIn here. He is a man who has combined architectural, master planning, construction, engineering, and interior design. He knows what he's doing. He's been involved in a number of plans, and again, it's not a name that's new. Again, he was around coming up with ideas back in 2019 for ways for Newcastle to extend the stadium. And again, what we're going to go through today is not particularly new, but it is what has been brought up in conversation. Again, when you've got 30,000 people looking for a seat, it is going to be back in the conversation again. The first idea involves moving the pitch within St James's Park from the Gallagher end over into the Leazor stand. So effectively it would take up the position of the lowest seating area inside the Leazor stand. So the pitch would be raised to basically cut out that lowest seating area, which would leave a whole load of extra room where the Gallagher is and where the East stand and where you can't build at the moment. That would allow the room for them to build up and over, higher, more seats, and that would be the idea of the extension. Now, obviously, the issue here would be the East stand, again, blocking out light to that area, but it's not to say that stand could still stay low if the Gallagher end was able to build up. So that's kind of one idea that's been floated. And another one, which again is not the new one, this is from back in 2019, and again, it's not a new concept. It's the idea of completely changing the position of St James's Park, changing the pitch by a 90-degree angle. That would allow the East stand, in theory, to stay exactly as it is, but would give all of that extra room on the Gallagher end. Obviously, because of the road and the proximity to the pitch, there's not enough room. If you were to spin the pitch completely the other way, the East stand could stay the same. The East stand could stay exactly as it is, but you are then getting all of that extra room because it's now the side of the pitch leading in to the Gallagher. And it's interesting stuff. You know, it's interesting. Again, I'm not an architect, I'm not an engineer or in construction, but you look at these kind of images and think, wow, if we've got the money and the sources, could we well go out and do something like this? You know, the car park at the back of St James's is pretty big. You know, could we use that room to extend out? Again, there's the space at the front of the club shop. There's not a lot of room, but in theory you could try and extend that out right into the corners, take up that extra 20 feet. Now, the issue that comes to mind is, where will Newcastle play their games while this construction's going on? Is it better to just do a little bit at a time? Again, that's the problem. There is just not the room to do a little bit at a time. If we are going to extend St James's Park, it's going to have to be a big one. It's going to have to be a man like Henry who comes in and goes, right, potentially, you know, get rid of a lot of what's already there in order to build up. You can see on that image there, the blue bits are the bits that are going to remain. All of the yellow is the new part, so it really would change the look and style of the stadium potentially, but at least it would be in that location on the top of the hill, the cathedral on the top of the hill, that city centre based stadium. I want to stay in the city. I don't really want to move out and away. You know, there's a reason why St James's Park is one of the best stadiums in the country, and it's because it's in the city centre. It's surrounded by restaurants, pubs and everything else. That's why I want it to stay there. But where would Newcastle play their games if we did make such a huge change to the stadium for a season, 2 seasons, a season and a half? Well, Spurs, They were able to play their games at the stadium, but they had more room. They were able to kind of build the new stadium at the side of the old one rather than having to do a complete change. For Newcastle, I don't know. I really doubt that Sunderland are going to let us in. Although they probably need the money, but I'm not sure that the fans would be too happy about trekking over there. There'd be fights on the metro every week. Middlesbrough, but that's just too far away. So that's asking a completely different question next. I mean, it wouldn't be bad. I would go to Gateshead. I mean, there just isn't any seats. Again, is this provoking the next question on why so few season tickets were put up for additional sale? You know, they really did limit it to who had them last season, which must have been at an all-time low after the Ashley debacle. Why was there very few put back on sale? Is that because they are looking to do something with an extension and don't want to oversell and then disappoint? Was that in their minds? Possibly. There is a lot of questions and not many answers, but again, it's definitely something that I've no doubt will be ongoing throughout this season, maybe into next season, and we'll have to just see what the new owners do. Again, they've got the proof. They know that they can fill the stadium easily. People can't even get the season tickets. It's going to be mad this season getting a ticket full stop, and that's just the way the Newcastle fans are, which is amazing, but it just asks the question, what happens next? Alright guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe and drop a like again. For any of you guys who are still watching all the way to the end of this video and haven't subscribed yet, hit that red button. It's free. I upload every single day with Newcastle United content. Do not miss out. It really helps the channel. Alright guys, thanks for watching as always. If you did enjoy this video, click here and check out my video Toon Tuesdays. I do a video every Tuesday going through all of the Newcastle United news from the previous week. We had a good week because we signed the player, so be sure to go and check it out. Alright guys, thanks for watching and I'll catch you later.